As we begin, breathe slowly and acknowledge that God is with you. Thank Him for His protection, provision, and His presence in your life. And tell Him that you desire to be with Him, to know Him, and to love Him as He loves you. The call to follow Jesus is not one to take lightly. As much as we want to soften it to make it appropriate for the littlest of ears among us, when Jesus said, "If anyone wants to follow after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross daily, and follow me," it would have been a gruesome proposal. Israel was occupied by Rome, and the Romans had perfected the torturous death upon a cross. If you walked the roads after a crucifixion, you were sure to see dead, flayed bodies left up as reminders to never disobey the Roman Empire, lest you wind up with the same fate. Quote, "To take the cross was to carry the horizontal beam, the patibulum, of the cross out to the site of execution, usually past a jeering mob." In rhetorically strong terms, Jesus describes what all true disciples must be ready for. If they follow Him, they must be ready to face literal scorn on the road to eventual martyrdom, for they must follow the cross. End quote. Jesus didn't paint a lovely, feel-good picture of what it meant to follow Him. He had just told them it was necessary that He suffer many things and be rejected by the religious leaders, be killed, and be raised on the third day. This was not a man vying for political power. This was a man with a very different agenda, with a very different idea of what it means to live well in this world. This was God in flesh, ready to lay His life down as the perfect sacrifice for sins. When the disciples argued over who would be the greatest among them, Jesus reminded them yet again that everything is upside down in His kingdom. There are no struggles for power in God's kingdom, only the call to follow Jesus into death. And if we ever find ourselves constructing hierarchies, who tends to end up on the bottom? Because the least of these are who God considers the greatest in His kingdom. If we find ourselves saying we want to follow Jesus, but coming up with reasons why we can't live like He's calling us to live, maybe we need to reevaluate what we think it means to follow Jesus. We should not be surprised that following Jesus is hard in a world that encourages us to live for ourselves and our own interests, but we can be assured that it's worth it. Let's pray. Lord Jesus, we want to follow You. Don't let us be like those who say they wanted to follow You, but came up with excuses as to why they couldn't. This Christmas, do a new thing in our hearts. Show us where we may be vying for power, hoping to be the greatest, when You've really called us to be the least. You've called us to deny ourselves, and that's a hard thing. Let it be said of us that we follow Jesus and Jesus alone. And now, as we close, think again about what you read in Luke today. What did you notice? What questions did it leave you with? Take a moment to pray on your own based on what you read.